Om. Om. Om Narayanam Padmabhuvam Vasishtam Siktitapasam Parasarancha Tatputram Vyasam Vedabhya Bhaskaram Om Viraktam Sri Sukam Devam Jnana Vairagya Rupinam Gaudapadancha Govindam Yogendram Jnaninam Varam Tatishyam Shankaracharya Madvaita Stapakam Gurum Tatisyan Padmapadadin Rauta Tatvartha Bodhakan Om Asangananda Gurvajin Asmad Guruvaran Paran Sambhinna Jnana Tamaso Vande Jnana Pradayina Om Sri Narayana Gurvajyam Shivalingarya Madhyamam Asangananda Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Harihi Om Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Om Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha Om Sri Matre Namaha Priyatma Bandhulara. So far we have completed about 60 Zoom sessions. Now today is the 61st Zoom session. The first question in today's session is, somebody is asking, is the Bhagavad Gita the summary of the Vedas? My answer is yes. Bhagavad Gita contains the quintessence of all the four Vedas, 18 Puranas and 9 Vyakaranas and the 1 lakh slokas of the Mahabharata. If you read Bhagavad Gita, you don't have to read the Vedas and other scriptures like Mahabharatam, Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, etc. The essentials of the scriptures are contained in the Bhagavad Gita. So it is sufficient to read the Bhagavad Gita alone, in place of reading all the other scriptures. Bhagavad Gita is the sum and substance of all the scriptures described above. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, what chapter from the Gita should I read when someone dies? My answer is, you can read a chapter of your choice, depending on what you want the departed soul to gain from the recitation. If you want the soul to attain Godhead, read chapter 11, Vishwarupa Sandarsana Yoga. Hari Om. Next question. Which poetic devices are used in the Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, Bhagavad Gita has mainly used 5 chandasus in its rendering. The number of slokas and the chandasu used in the Bhagavad Gita are given below for your information. Chandasu or meter as it is called, Anushtup Chandas, 646 slokas. Indra Vraja Chandas, 10 slokas. Upendra Vraja Chandas, 4 slokas. Upajativ Chandas, 37 slokas. And Viparita Purva, 4 slokas. Total 701 slokas in the Bhagavad Gita. Haribo. Next question. How many years ago did Krishna tell Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? My answer is, Lord Sri Krishna preached the Bhagavad Gita to the Pandava prince Arjuna during the Mahabharata wartime about 5,162 years back. Bhagavad Gita contains the quintessence of the human life and how this world is being run by the rules embedded in it. You must read this great treatise, which is filled with the treasures of the knowledge every human being should know. People who are not reading Bhagavad Gita are bound to miss something special in life. Impartially, I recommend people to read it. You can follow it if you like, or leave it, or else leave it. Bhagavad Gita is an ocean of knowledge. It is a treasure house. You can get anything you want by reading it. It is translated into most of the languages of the world. Approximately 1891 languages by the year 1982. It has 273 translations in English alone, and it has admirers from all the countries and continents. You must read it to believe it. Hari Om. Next question. How do I explain the full Gita? Somebody is asking. My answer is, to be able to explain the Bhagavad Gita, first of all, you should know that there are 4 stages in this process. They are Adhiti, second one Bodha, third one Acharana, and fourth one Pracharam. To be able to explain anything to the others is the 4th stage. If you cross all the first 3 stages, you will automatically come to the 4th stage. The first stage is reading. The second stage is to be able to explain to others in a way that they understand of what you have read. This is called Bodha. The third stage is to get into practice of what you have read. This is called Acharana. The 4th stage is what you are asking now, that is Pracharam. So cross all the first 3 stages, that is reading, Bodha, Acharana. You will automatically come to the 4th stage, namely Pracharam. Hari Om. Next question. Do you feel that the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, do your duty, don't worry about the fruits, hold true even today? My answer is, this is the dictum given in Sloka 2-47 of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the one out of the 4 of the cardinal principles of the Karma Yoga enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Sri Krishna. This principle not only holds true today, even it holds true even for centuries and millenniums. The principles enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita are the constitutional laws of the universe. That is, this universe is being run based on some constitutional principles. Bhagavad Gita is that book of the constitutional laws of the universe. Just as India is being governed by the rules embedded in the Constitution of India, this world is being run based on the governing principles enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing but the constitution of the universe. So the rules of karma enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita are sacrosanct. They were applicable in the past, they are being applicable in the present, and they will be applicable in the future as well, as long as the world exists. I am a scientist by profession. I worked in DrDO, India, as a scientist for 37.5 years. I did my duty in DrDO and at home as a citizen, sincerely, honestly, perfectly, effectively, and efficiently. Later, after living a normal life for 46 years, as a family persons, as husband and wife discharging our respective duties as head of the family and my wife as homemaker, and as parents of 3 children, we took to the spiritual field, myself and my wife, and practiced the Bhagavad Gita. God granted me and my wife, both of us, Jivan Mukti in the Grahastha Ashramam. What does this mean? The principles of Bhagavad Gita are applicable even today without any exceptions. After attaining the Jivan Mukti, we, that is myself and my wife, have also authored the Bhagavad Gita, giving out the step-by-step process as to how one can get mukti or moksham, so that the world at large can read, understand, and practice the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. Our book is entitled Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mukti Sopanamu Tatparya Sahita Vyakhyaanamu by Dr. Woodday Sivakeshavam. It is well received by the public, scholars, sannyasis, pandits, all over. My family and my children are well settled in life. What more proof you want about the applicability of the preachings of the Bhagavad Gita? Do your duty, don't worry about the fruits of actions. This holds true even today, as it happened in our case, of me, my wife, and my family. If you are not able to cross ego and maya and are not attaining mukti or moksham in today's world, it is not because the principles given in the Bhagavad Gita are not valid today, but because your understanding and practicing of the Bhagavad Gita lacks direction, focus, and goal. Please understand this. Browse through the following links for further details. I have given in the link below a sample copy of the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter of 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita written by us. If you read and understand the above 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, you are sure of crossing this ocean of samsara chakra without even an iota of doubt. Reading of the full text of the Bhagavad Gita is left to the choice of the readers. But those of you who want to read the full text of the Bhagavad Gita can do so at your will. God bless you all. Hari Om. Next question. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. If you were to summarize Bhagavad Gita in one sentence, what would it be? Somebody is asking this question. My answer is Bhagavad Gita is having 18 chapters. At the end of every chapter, it is said that Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya, etc., etc., for second, third, fourth, fifth, 15, 16, 17, and Ashtadashadhyaya, all the 18 chapters. That means it is confirmed that Bhagavad Gita is a moksha shastram. So in one sentence, Bhagavad Gita should be called as moksha shastram. Myself and my wife have authored a book entitled Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mukti Sopanamu, Tatparaseta Vyakhyanam by Dr. Woodde Shivakeshwa. For further details regarding the book, browse it here below. Display the titled book, 9th chapter in e-book form. Hari Om. Next question. How can one transcend the three natures, namely Sattva, Tamas, and Rajas, which are said in Bhagavad Gita, while carrying out our duties in day-to-day life? My answer is, what is Maya and its concept? It was originally answered as, what is Maya and its concept? Maya is like a mirage. In a mirage, there is no water, but we get a feeling of water being there. Similarly, dream is like a mirage. It is untrue, but we get a feeling of the dream being true as long as we are asleep. Once we wake up, we realize that this is dream. In the same way, ajnanam is Maya. Once we acquire jnanam, Maya vanishes away. God created Maya in three forms as given in Sloka 7-13 of Bhagavad Gita, namely Satvik Maya, second Rajasic Maya, and third Tamasic Maya. The Sloka 7-13 is as follows. Tribhirgunamaya bhavai revi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyaha param avyayam. The meaning of the above sloka is as follows. The whole world is under the influence of these three gunas I created, namely Sattvic Guna, Rajasic Guna, and Tamasic Guna. The entire world is immensely enamored, that is, getting mesmerized of these three gunas, and therefore the whole world is not able to recognize me, that is God, as immortal, and that I, God, am above these three gunas. The feelings arising out of these three gunas being caused by God are so powerful that people are being mesmerized under its powerful influence. And because of this, the whole world is living under the illusion of mistaking truth as untruth, unreal as real, and false as true. This is given in slokas 7-12 and 7-13 of the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to overcome this Maya, or illusion and live with single-minded devotion by overcoming the three gunas, we have to resort to practices as given in Sloka 2-45 of the Bhagavad Gita. The Sloka 2-45 of the Bhagavad Gita says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. This is 2-45 Sloka. The meaning of the above Sloka is as follows. All Vedas have preached only about the three gunas. So if you want to become knowledgeable about Atma, you must become Nistraigunya. That is, being without all three gunas, without dvandvas, that is ragam, dvesham, sukham, dukkham, etc. These are dvandvas. With always sattvic qualities and without bothering about yogam and kshemam, then you will become Atmavan. Yogam means to aspire for what you don't possess, and kshemam means to protect what you already possess. Once you do this, you will get involved in knowing about yourself and your Atma. Once you become Atmavan as given in Sloka 2-45, then you will know how to overcome this Maya and you will take refuge in Sloka 7-14 of the Bhagavad Gita. The Sloka 7-14 of the Bhagavad Gita reads as under Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durachaya Mameva ye prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantiti. The meaning of the above sloka is as follows. The Maya, which is created by me and which is based on the three gunas, is very, very difficult to cross over. However, those who surrender unto me, that is God, I will very easily make them cross over. This is given in sloka 7-14. Once you take refuge in sloka 7-14, God himself will bail you out of Maya. God promised this. Please understand. As long as you lean towards asuri gunas, that is demonic traits, you will be fully immersed in ajnanam. That is given in sloka 7-15. God considers people leaning towards demonic traits as bad-natured people. Please understand this. But generally, the good-natured people approach God in 4 different ways. That is, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinodina arto jijñāsurardhādi jnani cha bhartarsava. So you can approach God in one of these 3-4 ways, but God likes the fourth devotee, that is jnani. Hari Om. Next question, somebody is asking, should we read the holy book, the Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, browse through the following links for further details regarding the answers to your questions in the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Vidya Shivakesham's answer to what are the real life lessons from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Browse the link in Google for further information. Hari Om. Next question, how is an individual compared to chariot in Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, look at the following sloka from Kathopanishad. Atmanam radhinam viddhi sariram radhamevatu. Buddhintu sardham viddhi mana pragrahamevacha. Indriyani hayanahur vishayam teshu gocharan atmendriya manoyuktam bhokti-tyahur manishinaha. This is the sloka from Kathopanishad. In the above slokas, it is very beautifully described as follows. Atma, the soul, sitting in the chariot like a king. Sariram, human body, is likened to the chariot itself. Buddhi, that is intellect, is the charioteer or the sarasi. Manas, that is mind, is likened to the bridle of the horses. Indriyani, that is senses, eyes, ears, nostrils, mouth, skin, are likened to the horses which drive the chariot. Further, these horses always are attracted towards the greener pastures, wherever they exist. Likewise, human senses are always attracted towards the events and incidents and activities of life. Just as horses get satisfied by grazing the greener fields, the human senses are satisfied by enjoying the events, incidents, and activities of the day-to-day life. Bhagavad Gita says that the individuals themselves must rise above the senses, mind, and intellect and assume the position of the Atma Swarupam, which every human being is in himself or herself. That means the human being is not the physical body, which generally people think, but they are the force driving the physical body. That is, the human being is the Atma, which drives the body, the force behind the body. It is that Atma which makes every human being see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. I hope you have understood the analogy of human body with the chariot. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, how many yajnas are listed in the Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, one full chapter is devoted in the Bhagavad Gita, and the God has dealt with the yajnas in the fourth chapter in some details. The number of yajnas listed in the Bhagavad Gita in the fourth chapter, titled Jnana Yogam, are the following: Daiva Yajnam, Brahma Yajnam, Indriya Samyama Yajnam, Shabdadi Vishaya Nirodha Yajnam, Mano Nigraha Yajnam, Dravya Yajnam, Tapo Yajnam, Yoga Yajnam, Swadhyaya Yajnam, Jnana Yajnam, Pranayama Yajnam, Ahara Niyama Yajnam. All these yajnas are being executed with the active assistance of mind, speech, and the action of humans. Of all these yajnas, the most important and precious yajnam is the jnana yajna. One must understand that all actions done by the humans end ultimately in jnanam root only. Just as all rivers flow into the sea, all karmas, activities or actions ultimately aim at the most precious karma in the form of yajnam only. So if you do your duty completely with sincerity, devotion, dedicatedness, and with faith in the God, your actions get converted into the yajnas, and you will be bestowed with Atma Jnanam by the God. From this Jnanam, you will get the papam burnt off just like fire burns off the logs of wood. Once papam gets burnt off and Jnanam enters the human, the next step is liberation, salvation, moksha. God tells and parts with the important advice to the devotees in the sloka 4-34 of the Bhagavad Gita as under. Tadvidhi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. That is sloka 4-34. Meaning of the above sloka is, know that by long prostration, by question and by service, the wise who have realized the truth will instruct thee in that knowledge, jnanam. That is the meaning of the sloka 4-34. This is how one should approach the Guruji, who is the jnani and who will teach you the jnanam. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, what is Bhagavad Gita? Why is Bhagavad Gita not prevalent among Hindus like other religious books? My answer is, how many people are prepared to read a novel? Not many. If the same novel is converted to cinemas, a lot of people will see the cinemas. Similarly, as long as Mahabharatam was in book form, not many people read it because it is voluminous. It contains 1 lakh slokas in Sanskrit. Further, not many people speak Sanskrit, and so not many people will understand it. However, when Mahabharata was converted into a TV serial by B.R. Chopra and telecast as a weekly serial, the roads of Hyderabad between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning on all Sundays were wearing a curfew look. Same is the case with the Ramayana taken by Ramananda Sagar and telecast as a weekly serial. This is because the visual effect is more powerful and more appealing to public. Both the Ramayana and Mahabharata received overwhelming public support when they were telecast. Further, both Ramayana and Mahabharata were in the form of family stories, which were and are being easily understood by the public at large. So both Ramayana and Mahabharata are the bywords in India and to the Indian people. Everybody knows both the epic stories of the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Bhagavad Gita, on the other hand, is an abstracted, descriptive methodology to know about the God and the universe, its creation, sustenance, and the destruction of the world's universal phenomena. Hence, only a very few discerning people of exceptional attributes are interested in these areas of subtle and difficult understanding. Notwithstanding the above spiritual journey inspired by God and His preaching, a few discerning people are able to understand everything about the Bhagavad Gita and are also applying those preachings and practices of its principles in India in their daily lives. In fact, there are many matams, ashramams, monasteries, and missions which have people of higher education and learning to teach and preach the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other scriptures. Notwithstanding the fact that these scriptures are all in Sanskrit slokas, it also requires a gigantic and dedicated lifetime effort to learn them. Vedas themselves require about 12 years of dedicated learning in ashrams and gurukulams, which are exclusively meant for Vedic learning. Further, the four Vedas, 18 Puranas, 9 Vyakaranas are all condensed into the fifth Veda called as Mahabharata. Mahabharata, consisting of 1 lakh slokas, is further condensed into 700 slokas in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Interest to learn about abstract things whose intricate details are not easily understandable for common people without a bent up in acquiring scriptural knowledge. This is the main reason for the Bhagavad Gita being not having wide prevalence among the most of Hindus and the Hindu families. I hope, in the light of the above explanation given above, you understand the situation now and the reasons for the Bhagavad Gita being not very popular. Further, until the year 1926, the Bhagavad Gita was not even fully translated into the Telugu language to read and understand its content. It was only after 1926 the Bhagavad Gita was being popularized in the Telugu language and in Telugu-speaking states of India. Even though I am not fully aware of the situation in other languages of India, similar situations might be prevailing there also in other states of India. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, why do people study Bhagavad Gita? What are the advantages of it? My answer is, Bhagavad Gita is a panacea for all the problems being faced by the humanity in their day-to-day life. However, Bhagavad Gita is not the immediate reference for many people because it is given in Sanskrit slokas and is not available easily, nor it is easily accessible to the general public. However, it is the quintessence of all the scriptures. If you read and really understand the Bhagavad Gita, the whole world is deemed to have been understood. Many things are said about the Bhagavad Gita. Some of them in brief are as follows. Vijñātva neha bhuyo jnatavyam avasishyate. This is given in Sloka 7-2. The meaning of this is as under. If you know this, then there is nothing more, no remainder left to be known for you in this world. Next one, Idantute Gukshatamam, that is Sloka 9-1. Its meaning is as follows. This is more secretive than the most secretive. Next one, Raja Vidya Rajagusham, that is Sloka 9-2. The meaning of this is as under. This is the princely knowledge among all the knowledgeable knowledges and is the princely secrets of all the secrets. Next one, Jnananam Jnanamuttamam, that is Sloka 14-1. The meaning of this is as under. This is the best knowledge among all the knowledgeable knowledges. The above are some of the quotable quotes from the Bhagavad Gita itself, said by Lord God and Lord Sri Krishna himself. Besides the above, many stalwarts, expressed various opinions about the Bhagavad Gita as under Swami Vivekananda. In Gita, truths are beautifully arranged in their proper places like a fine garland or a bucket of choicest flowers. Mahatma Gandhi. Gita contains treasures of knowledge. For me, the Gita became an infallible guide of conduct. It became my dictionary of daily reference. I turn to it for a ready solution of all my troubles and trials. A true votary of the Gita ever dwells in perennial joy and peace. Balagangadhar Tilak. In the literature of the whole world, there is no book like the Gita. It is most luminous and priceless gem. It takes us to the supreme bliss. Malayala Swami. To cross over the ocean of earthly life, it is enough to read the Gita and act according to its teachings. Swami Shivananda Saraswati. Bhagavad Gita is a universal scripture. It is the eternal guide of man. It leads him from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. Study the Bhagavad Gita. Live in the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita. Become immortal. Enjoy peace and bliss here and now. Honeybee said, among the priceless teachings that may be found in the great poem of the Mahabharata, there is none so rare and precious as Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's song. Since it fell from the divine lips of Lord Sri Krishna on the field of battle and stilled the surging emotions of his disciple and friend Arjuna, how many troubled hearts has it quieted and strengthened? How many weary souls has it led to him? Edwin Arnold. He translated the whole of the Bhagavad Gita into English and published it in 1923 itself. Browse below the details. Some more famous personalities from the world who were influenced by the Bhagavad Gita. Browse the link below for the details of the influence the Bhagavad Gita had on the 8 famous personalities of the world. This is how the Bhagavad Gita influenced these famous personalities from around the world. Google it. This is how the Bhagavad Gita influenced these famous personalities from around the world. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the most widely respected Hindu scriptures in existence and has been a source of inspiration for many, many people. Written in Sanskrit, its 700 verses are often quoted by many great personalities who believe that the Gita has been a guiding force in their lives. The scripture, which is often referred to as a way of life, is way more than just a religious text. It has been translated into more than 80 different languages, with its influence spanning across boundaries and countries, and has become a staple in philosophical discussions and the like. Here are 8 great personalities, and here is how the Bhagavad Gita influenced them. Number 1, Henry David Thoreau, the noted American poet, author, and philosopher, was deeply influenced by Indian philosophy and spiritual thought. In his noted book titled Walden, he referenced the Bhagavad Gita in many instances. In the very first chapter of the book, he writes how much more admirable the Bhagavad Gita than all the ruins of the East. This is available from Wikipedia. Next, second one, J. Robert Oppenheimer. The American theoretical physicist Oppenheimer is known as the father of the atomic bomb and was involved in the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan during the Second World War. He had read the Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit and remarked that while witnessing the first atomic bombing, he was reminded of the words from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna persuades Arjuna to do his duty. He said, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." This is also from Wikipedia. Now, third one is from T.S. Eliot. Indian philosophy had a huge influence on this American poet, who had studied Indian philosophy and Sanskrit during his days in Harvard from 1911 to 1940. In his poem titled The Dry Salvages, Eliot mentions the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna from the Bhagavad Gita to depict a connection between the past and the future and to emphasize that one needs to follow divine will rather than seek personal gain. As the famous line from his poem reads, "You who came to poor and you whose bodies will suffer the trial and judgment of the sea, or whatever even this is your real destination." So Krishna, as when he admonished Arjuna on the field of battle, not farewell, but fare forward, voyagers. This is taken from the source biography.com. Fourth one is Sunita Williams, the American astronaut with Indian roots, holds the record for longest spacewalk time for a woman. When she was heading out on her expedition as a member of the International Space Station, ISS, she carried a Ganesha idol and a copy of the Bhagavad Gita with her in the space. In her words, those are spiritual things to reflect upon yourself, life, the world around you, and see things the other way. I thought it was quite appropriate. It is also available from Wikipedia. Next one, fifth one is Philip Glass, the American composer who often referred to as one of the most influential musicians of the late 20th century, cited the Bhagavad Gita in one of his works. He composed an opera titled Satyagraha, which is loosely based on the life of Mahatma Gandhi and contains text from the Bhagavad Gita that is sung in Sanskrit during the performance. This is from pomegranatearts.com. Next one, sixth one is from Annie Besant, the Irish socialist, theosophist, and women's rights activist who supported Indian home rule during the struggle for independence, was also interested in reading about Indian philosophy. Her translated work as the Bhagavad Gita is titled The Lord's Song. The text from her book reads that the spiritual man need not be a recluse, that union with the divine life may be achieved and maintained in the midst of worldly affairs, that the obstacles to that union lie not outside us, but within us. This is the central lesson of the Bhagavad Gita. This is sourced from en.r8lsp.com. Next one, seventh one, is from Warren Hastings, the first governor of Bengal and the first Governor General of India, strongly supported Charles Wilkins, the English typographer and Orientalist who translated the Bhagavad Gita in English. It is said that Warren Hastings handed over a copy of the Bhagavad Gita translated by Wilkins to the chairman of East India Company and said that the performance of great originality, of a sublimity of conception, reasoning, and diction almost unequal and single exception among all. Among all the known religions of mankind. This is also from Wikipedia. Now, next to eighth one, Ralph Waldo Emerson, the popular American essayist, lecturer, and poet of the mid-19th century, was introduced to Indian philosophy while reading the works of French philosopher Victor Cousin. His words about the scripture are, "I owed a magnificent day to the Bhagavad Gita. It was as if an empire spoke to us, nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence, which is another age, and climate had pondered and thus disposed of the same question which exercises." This is from history 1800s.about.com. The advantages of reading the Bhagavad Gita is that by reading a single book, you will know the world better. You will know how to live your life better. And you will know the essence of the human life itself. That is the advantage of reading the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, Sir Warren Hastings, who was a former Governor General of India, loved India a little more than his own country. If you read and understand the importance of the Bhagavad Gita, then you will be able to appreciate it better. Hari Om. Next question, somebody is asking, what is the difference between Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? Originally answered, what is the difference between Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, Bhagavatam is the story of Lord Vishnu when he took incarnations in the world. Lord's manifestations are magnificently portrayed in the Bhagavatam. It is written by sage Vyasa and consists of 17 skandhas. A skandha is a part of the sugarcane stick from one knot to the second knot. Sugarcane is sweet throughout its length. Similarly, Bhagavatam is sweet throughout its 12 chapters. Bhagavad Gita, on the other hand, is the quintessence of this world, consisting of the nature on the one hand, the living creatures on the second hand, and the God on the third hand. Bhagavad Gita teaches us as to how this world is made, how it is being sustained, and what is happening to the world in the end, and what are the cycles of creation leading to destruction, leading to creation, leading to destruction, leading to creation, etc. So, in short, Bhagavatam is the story of Lord Sri Mahavishnu's incarnations in different yugas and situations. That is, Treta Yugam, Dwapara Yugam, Satya Yugam, etc. Bhagavad Gita is the treatise consisting of the constitutional laws of the universe. This is a short reply to your question. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, who composed the Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, sage Vyasa, who wrote the Mahabharata consisting of 1 lakh slokas, wrote the Bhagavad Gita also, consisting of 700 slokas. Hari Om. Next question. Why aren't there any physical proofs for Bhagavad Gita? My answer is, what proofs you want, my dear? Basic book is available and 701 slokas are available. There is no major language of the world into which the Bhagavad Gita is not translated. What more proof you need? Next question. How is the Bhagavad Gita helpful to the common man? How can he utilize the Bhagavad Gita to live successfully in his or her life without complaints? My answer is, your question is answered in 2 parts. 1, importance of the Bhagavad Gita, and 2, use of reciting the Bhagavad Gita. Number 1 point, importance of the Bhagavad Gita. By reading the Bhagavad Gita, one can know the answer to the following question. Who he is, what is this world, what is the relationship between the individuals themselves and all the world around him or her? Is there somebody who would have created the humans and the world around him or her? Starting, beginning, the spiritual field unfolded itself in 3 stages. That is what is called as Prasthanatrayam. The first stage is the most prominent among the Vedas, and that being presented at the end of the Vedas, it is called as Upanishads. The second stage is the Bhagavad Gita from the Bhishma Parvam, the 6th chapter of Mahabharata, preached to Arjuna by Lord Sri Krishna to make him perform his bounden duty as a Kshatriya fighting in the Kurukshetra war. The third stage is the Brahma Sutras, which is the essence of all the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. In this Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna essentially told orally about the nature of the individuals, second the world, and third the God. Now coming to the uses of reciting Bhagavad Gita, some people recite the Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis, while others recite it based on certain end uses. The end uses of reciting Bhagavad Gita is given below briefly, parawise. By reciting the first chapter, one gets the remembrance of the last verse. By reciting the second chapter, one gets to know the Atma Swarupam. Pretatvam will vanish. That means a person who died but had not acquired another physical body, then his soul will be moving like a devil. This is called Pretatvam. By the listening to the fourth and fifth chapters, even the trees, birds, and animals will be relieved of their bondage. Fifth chapter, same as for fourth. Vishnu Sankhyam, God's abode. Janma Rahityam, Moksham, liberation, salvation. Tavaratam, being in the form of a stone. And Brahma Rakshasatvam, flesh-eating devilishness, will vanish. Vanishing of any dosham associated with parigraham, that is taking of gifts, etc. of some others. One will get all the punyam that accrues on account of rightful observance of dharmam in whatever ashramam, brahmacharyam, grihastham, vanaprastham, or sannyasam we are practicing, etc. Even the dead ones would become alive. One devotee would get the darshan of the Lord on whom one is meditating, vanishing of the lower samsaram, chandalatvam, papas accruing out of killing females or adulteration, heinous crimes would vanish. Salvation, liberation, moksham accrues. Comfort and courage would accrue. All acute diseases would vanish. And all benefits that accrues by performing homam, that is havan, for getting job or employment, etc. There are both physical and spiritual gains by daily parayanam and practicing the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. This you can learn from a learned guru, and the whole thing cannot be described here. Next question. Which is the most respected translation of the Bhagavad Gita in academic circles? Is the question somebody is asking. Since many centuries back, the commentary written by Adi Shankaracharya to the Bhagavad Gita is the most respected translation into Sanskrit of the Bhagavad Gita in prose form. You can take this as authenticated. Next question. If Lord Krishna recited Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, how could sage Vyasa narrate it to world? Did Krishna recite Gita to Vyasa too? My answer is, you must understand the intellectual levels and the unbelievable superhuman powers of the Indian sages. They are not like ordinary human beings. Sage Vyasa is a very powerful sage. He has design powers. Knowing that the happenings in the Hastinapuram are not likely to be palatable, sage Vyasa took away Satyavati and Ambalika to the forest for doing tapas, saying that they would not be able to witness the events that are likely to happen in future in the Hastinapuram kingdom. In the Bhagavad Gita, sloka 10-37 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna told, Krishninam Vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Muninam Apyaham Vyasaha, Kavinam Ushina Kavi. This is sloka 10-37. That means, among the Vrishni clan people, I am Vasudeva. Among Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya, that is Arjuna. Among the sages, I am Vyadavyasa. Among the poets, I am Sukracharya. This is the meaning of sloka 10-37. So when Lord Krishna has preached the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, it was sage Vyadavyasa who codified it in the form of a treatise conformed to the Sanskrit Chandasu, that is consisting of 701 slokas, along with the other portions of the Mahabharata containing 1,00,000 slokas. Sage Vyadavyasa gifted the Divya Drishti to Sanjay, the charioteer of the king Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya was the single person who could directly see the war proceedings on in situ basis and report to the king Dhritarashtra on online basis every second basis. This was purely possible because of the spiritual power the sage Vyasa enjoyed. People who are not aware of the spiritual powers of the Indian sages only question such happening. Sage Vyasa completely knew what is likely to happen to the Kuru clan and the Kauravas in future, as it was not possible for her mother Satyavati, wife of King Shantana, daughter of Dasara, the mother of Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, to be able to cope up with the future happenings in the Hastinapuram, age Vyadavasa took away Satyavati and her daughter-in-law, to the Tapobhumi for doing tapas. Such was the wisdom of the powers of sage Vyasa. In fact, most of Indian sages had such powers. For example, Vasishtha Maharshi, the spiritual guru of Lord Rama, predicted in Treta Yuga itself that in the next Dwapara Yugam, Kurukshetra war would take place between Pandavas and Kauravas, and that Lord Sri Krishna would be preaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. This is contained in the Yoga Vasishtam Nirvana Prakaranam, entitled as Arjunopakhyanam, preached by Vasishtha Maharshi to Lord Sri Rama. In fact, some of the slokas in the Yoga Vasishtamu and the Bhagavad Gita are exactly identical, such as the powers and prediction of Indian sages. I hope you understand now what for Indian sages are worth. They are very powerful and can predict the future events as well. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, are the Upanishads and the Puranas complementary to the Bhagavad Gita, or is nothing required after it? My answer is, Bhagavad Gita is the quintessence of the four Vedas, 18 Puranas, 9 Vyakaranas, and the Mahabharata, consisting of 1 lakh slokas. Upanishads, numbering about 108 in all, are the end parts of the Vedas. Hence, if you read the single Bhagavad Gita, it is enough, and it is equivalent to having read all the scriptures described above. After reading the essence of all these scriptural texts and practicing the Bhagavad Gita for the last more than 38 years, I am telling you this fact with a promise on God that you don't have to read any other scripture. If you read the single Bhagavad Gita, believe me, God promised. Please don't waste your time by reading all the scriptural books, except for the reason that you want to know more about them individually. With all other scriptures, what all other scriptures tell you about the living principles and the God Almighty, the various methods and methodologies to be pursued to attain Him are all told in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So read Bhagavad Gita alone. It is more than enough. Hari Om. Next question. Somebody is asking, explaining the meaning of Sadharma Shreyodayakam, Paradharmo Bhayavaham, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. My answer is, let us look at the sloka 3-35 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is as follows. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharma Swarishtita Sadharme Nidhanam Shreyam Paradharmo Bhayavaha. This is sloka 3-35. Meaning of the above sloka is, better is one's own duty, though devoid of merit, than the duty of another well discharged. Better is death in one's own duty. The duty of another is fraught with fear. You must have heard of the donkey and the dog story. I repeat the donkey and dog story for your information and understanding. A washerman was keeping a donkey and a dog. He was using donkeys to carry the load of clothes every day from home to washing water tank and back. A donkey was carrying heavy loads of clothes. Washerman was giving stomach full of fodder to the donkey every day. However, the washerman was not giving even a morsel of food to the dog, as the washerman was feeling that the dog was not being useful to him. One day, a burglar came to the washerman's house in the night when everyone was fast asleep. The burglar was collecting all the valuables from the washerman's house. Even though the dog was watching everything, it was not barking. The following conversation ensued between the dog and the donkey. Dear dog, you are seeing our master's house being burgled. Why are you not barking? Dog, dear donkey, our master is not giving me even a morsel of food. I am suffering every day with so much hunger. Donkey, dear dog, this is not the time to find fault with the master. His house is being burgled. As a servant of the master, it is your duty to bark and wake up the master. dog, dear donkey, you are being nicely fed both in the morning and evening every day. He is nice to you. The master is not giving me even a morsel of food to eat. I know my problem of hunger and the carelessness of the master, so I will not be bought. Saying so, the dog kept silent. But the donkey thought, dog is not loyal to the master. If dog is not barking, I will do dog's job of waking up the master. Thinking so, the donkey brayed until the master woke up. The master felt the donkey disturbed his sleep in the middle of the night, and he became very angry. Master woke up and hit the donkey very hard, wielding a very big stick in his hand. Unable to bear the hard blows of the master, donkey died on the spot. Moral of the story is, we should never ever take on our head the responsibility of others' duties on our head. We must confine ourselves to our swadharmam, and we should not take the burden of others' duty, that is paradharmam, on our head. If we try to shoulder paradharmam, we are bound to perish like the donkey. I hope you have understood the meaning of the sloka 3-35 of the Bhagavad Gita and swadharmam and paradharmam. God being very kind and merciful, he elaborated the importance of performing one's duty again. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, I learned that when a man does his duties rightly according to his order of life, his heart gets purified and he goes to heaven. Swe swe karmanya virata samsiddhim labhate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachirunu. This is Shloka 18-45. Meaning is, each man devoted to his own duty attains perfection. How he attains perfection while being engaged in his own duty here now. That is next Shloka 18-44. Yata prabhuruttir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam sakarmana tamabhyartya siddhim vindati manavaha. Meaning is, he from whom all the beings have evolved and by whom all this is pervaded, worshipping him with his own duty, man attains perfection. Man attains perfection by worshipping the Lord through the performance of his own duty. That is, he becomes qualified for the dawn of self-knowledge. Preyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma swarishtitat prabhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. That is Sloka 18-47. Meaning is, better is one's own duty, though destitute of merits, than the duty of another well performed. He who does the duty ordained by his own nature incurs no sin. Harivo. Next question. Somebody is asking, does Bhagavad Gita really have all the answers? Is there anyone who has got his or her answers from this book? What are they? My answer is, I am time and again repeatedly repeating and reiterating that the Bhagavad Gita is the treasure house unfolding the secrets of the God and the nature. I am vouching for my words in this regard, that Bhagavad Gita gave me replies to all my questions, and it will give answers to anyone, anywhere and anytime. I again repeat that there is no single question that the Bhagavad Gita does not answer. What all questions it has answered me and my wife are written in the book entitled Srimad Bhagavad Gita Mukti Sopanamu Tatparya Sata Vyakhyanamu by Dr. Buddhi Shivakeshu. It is available with me and in my YouTube videos of 2021, that is 2021. Display the titled book. You can Google. Harivo. Next question. Is it a sin to touch the Bhagavad Gita when one is physically impure? My answer is, we are asked to follow the principles of purity both inside our heart and outside cleanliness when we are going to temple, because God does not like impure surroundings or thoughts. Bhagavad Gita is a sacred text containing the preachings of the God. It is as good as God itself. So when you are impure physically, you should keep yourself away from this sacred text, Bhagavad Gita, just as you keep away from going to temple or participating in puja programs. I hope you understand the importance of following the internal and external purities always. So keep yourself away from the Bhagavad Gita during the course of menstrual cycles for ladies and other times when you are impure. Elsewhere, while answering the other questions, I have given the rules of reading the Bhagavad Gita. Please follow them carefully whenever you have to read the Bhagavad Gita. Next question. Somebody is asking, what is meant by this slogan from Bhagavad Gita? Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbu mate sangostva karman. The answer is, the above sloka has four truths about what we do in our daily life called as karmas. Number one, you, that is doer of karma, have got only the right to do the karma. Number two, you don't have any right on the result of the karma. Number three, you should not become the torch bearer of the karma phalam. Or in other words, you should not dictate the outcome of the karma. Number four, because you have been asked not to drive at the karma phalam, you should not lose interest in doing your work and become an idler or avoid doing your work. The above four are the cardinal principles based on which everybody must do his or her work in all walks of human endeavor. This is called karma yoga. If you do your duty or work conforming to the above four cardinal principles, you are bound to get God's grace without doubt on par with other people who are doing or engaged deeply in devotion, that is acquiring knowledge or wisdom, jnanam, through the process of reading scriptural text or doing meditation on God. This is the meaning of the above sloka in the Bhagavad Gita. For more elaborate commentary on this sloka 2-47, read my other answers on the same sloka. Hari Om. So I think I will stop it here for today. I will recite the sloka, praying God for forgiving me for my pronunciation, doshas, etc. Oh, यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्रा हीनं चेद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव परमेश नमोऽस्तु ते हरिः ओम् तत्सत्